All right. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on. We are back. That being said, a moment of silence for all those who have lost their lives. And we're going to get right back into people over profits. Martin Luther King and other real freedom fighters. Truth over truth and justice. Truth over lies. Mhm. Let's go, Martin. Bring us back in.
Technological abundance. The problem is, so we suffer from a kind of poverty of the spirit, which stands in glaring contrast to our scientific and technological abundance. The problem is, my friends, that we have learned to fly the air like birds, and we have learned to swim the seas like fish, and yet we haven't learned to walk the earth like brothers and sisters. Racial injustice is still the black man's burden and the white man's shame. So wherever we live in America, we have to face the fact honestly that racial discrimination is present. So don't get complacent. Certainly we've made some strides. We made some progress here and there. But it hasn't been enough. It hasn't been fast enough. And although we've come a long, long way,
racial discrimination is still present.
Long way to go. In 1860, the Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery through the Emancipation Proclamation signed by Abraham Lincoln. But the Negro was not given any land.
You better teach.
Make that freedom meaningful. And you know, it was something like having a man in jail for years and years, and then you suddenly discover that this man is innocent.
Put your weight on that.
Go to him and say, now you are free. The man's been unjustly jailed for 35 or 40 years, and you just put him out of jail saying, now you are free. Don't give him any bus fare to get to town, no money to buy any clothes, no money to get something to eat. This is what happened to the black man in this country. I can't limit my concern to the middle class. I can't limit my concern to this particular situation where a Negro comes and says, I'm the first this. I'm just tired of the first Negro. I want some seconds and some thirds and some fourths. The civil rights movement has to address itself to this, and the nation has to do it. You see, we are such a rich nation and affluent nation. We often don't see the poor. There are some, you see, most white people can't see the poor because they live in the suburbs. And then they get in town in these big cities on expressways. They don't know nothing about Watts. They've never been there. They don't know anything about Huff in Cleveland or the west side or the south side of Chicago or Harlem. They've never seen it. And they allow the poor to become invisible. And a lot of Negroes, you know, who have somehow sailed or floated out of the backwaters or the muddy waters, and they've kind of been able to ease out into the fresh flowing waters of the mainstream, have forgotten the stench of the backwater.
Oh my goodness, let me pull that back. Oh my goodness, let me pull that back. Names come to mind when I think about Rosemont, Illinois, and Big Chicken being put in Rosemont, Illinois by Shaquille O'Neal. And I think about Kanika Jenkins being found dead in the freezer of a hotel. Let me pull it back for the ones who don't comprehend, understand, and are not quite there yet. And all you're getting, you can get an understanding today. May Cornelia rest, rule, and abide and reign all throughout your body today. For the African American people in America, that was the first. For the African American people in America who got a little piece of money, who think they got a little piece of money. That's right. Let me pull it back. Lest we forget. It's still got to be people over profits, truth over lies, justice over injustices. Oh my.
And they've kind of been able to ease out into the fresh flowing waters of the mainstream, have forgotten the stench of the backwater. And I can hear a voice saying that wasn't enough. I was hungry and you fed me not. I was naked and you clothed me not. I needed shelter and you didn't give it to me. I needed a drink of water. And in a world that's 3/4 water, you made me pay a water bill.
Michigan. When you talk about that water, Flint, Michigan comes to mind. The turn up is real. I said, when he talk about that water, man-made crisis in Flint, Michigan comes to mind. Slick Rick Snyder. When you talk about people who got African-American people, he called them Negroes. YouTube. Because that was the terminology that was being used during that era. YouTube. When you talk about African-American people who get a little piece of money, Shaquille O'Neal comes to mind. You didn't got a little piece of money. Now you're running down up into Rosemont, Illinois, and you could put your business in Chicago, or you could take your business straight to the urban areas that have been redlined, redistrict, rezoned. Because he talked about Watts. He's talking about different parts of Chicago. You could go there and put your business there, but you chose to go to an affluent area that's over 90% white, affluent area, not the poor white areas, but over 90% white with less than 3,000 people that reside in that area. And yeah. So for people like, what is she talking about? Well, Shaq gonna put his big chicken in Rosemont, and my issue with that is this. A black 19-year-old teenager was found in a hotel freezer. And at first they tried to come out and say, let me pull it back real quick. They thought it was a possible suicide. Then they tried to say, okay, it was written up in the papers as a homicide. Then they flipped and said it was accidental. Now, 47 cameras on the premises, according to the documentation that was written up. 5+ cameras in the kitchen. A camera was on the 9th floor. There's no possible reason why a camera should not have captured her allegedly walking in a freezer, but we never saw her walk in the freezer. And the hotel said on the onset, and you can go back and let the record show, that there is no footage of her walking into a freezer. So why in the world would they come out and play with a person's mind like that? But if Martin Luther King was living today, if Malcolm X was living today, if other men, freedom fighters, were living today, do you think that they would be putting a business in Rosemont because they didn't got a little piece of money? No. I would say absolutely not. The protest would still be going on. Stop playing. That's right. They would still be going on. I'm not giving him a pass and saying he didn't do his research, Letha, because when Kenneka Jenkins was found in that hotel freezer, even entertainment news, sports entertainment news was talking about it. So no, don't nobody get no pass. This was an international news story. And you look on YouTube or Facebook today, internationally, it's still being talked about. Let me pull it back again. It was international news, not just national news. Even the sports entertainment center news stations made mention of Kenneka Jenkins. He commentates on sports entertainment news channels from time to time. Does he not? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be people over profits, truth over lies. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull this back up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that what real freedom fighters talked about and real advocates and activists talked about still rings true to this day. You get a little piece of money. One person make it, and then they leave, and they don't go back and teach or help the other person. They got theirs. Okay, fine. That's fine. And they'll say, well, my labor has gotten me this. Okay. But did you forget about the people who labored before you even got there? That never got paid. Because if it wasn't for them, if it were not for them, the little piece of freedom we wouldn't even have. Let me pull this up. Let me do the share on this. All right. So here it is. Shaq opening big chicken restaurant in Rosemont. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal is opening a big chicken in Rosemont, Illinois. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal is opening a big chicken in Rosemont. According to the village officials, Rosemont is building a new place for big chicken located at 9421 West Higgins Road. Again, 9421 West Higgins Road, 9421 West Higgins Road, Village of Rosemont, Illinois. The opening will mark Big Chicken's first Midwest location. It will share a spot with stands, donuts, and coffees, and will have a life-size statue of O'Neal outside. Now, we just heard one of the many speeches that Martin Luther King gave during reports, live debate, speeches, whatever, about people being the first. So it'll be the first big chicken in Rosemont, Illinois, in the Midwest. In the Midwest. So I guess Shaquille O'Neal would be celebrating. But he could have chose any other location. Why didn't he choose the hood? Okay. Okay. Hey, Uncle G. Letha, you saying it's sad everybody not built like us? Let me say something that my mother says frequently. Back in the day, you didn't have a choice. It wasn't about whether or not a person was built the same way. It was about the fight. It wasn't optional whether or not you would put people over profits. That wasn't an option for them. Because it was too caustic. They had too much to lose. And I would say in this generation today, every time we turn on the television and we see African-American male and female, kids and toddlers, infants and babies alike, being murdered, shot, cut up, suffocated, hung, or however a person decides to kill them. Being unified on one accord shouldn't even be an option. It should be a no-brainer for us in this generation. People over profits should never be an option. It should be a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. But like Martin Luther King said, some people get a little taste of money, get a little taste of the other side, and they forget. Okay. They can't relate. Okay. Yeah, that's cute. And I'll say it again. You can't take your money with you when you leave, and you don't know how your kids or the people on this side is going to spend it. Unless you leave a very detailed will. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You better leave a specific will. When you're leaving your inheritance to the next generation on how they move the money. Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't have that specified within your will, then you don't know what they're going to do. They can blow it all in a day. It's possible. Hmm. So think about it. Pause and think about it for a minute. Let me pull these videos up. And lest we forget. Lest we forget. Anybody can exploit a situation in a story. Lest we forget. Lest we forget it was something extremely eerie, unsettling, and that was downright nonsense when it came to finding Kanika Jenkins in the freezer. Lest we forget it was something eerie and unsettling about Jelani Day being found in the river naked. Lest we forget something eerie and unsettling about Christina being found in the back of the police truck in Alabama at the police department. Lest we forget something very unsettling about Kendrick Johnson being found rolled up in a mat with video footage available. Lest we forget. Disclaimer: parental consent. Viewers' discretion is advised. The content may not be suitable for certain viewers. Viewers' discretion is advised. All right. All right. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. I can just free flow this. Let's get to it. Let's do a flashback and walk this up.
Right there. Now what? What? To the liars. To the liars.
Graphic language.
police, man. They don't like it. Memphis. No. Cool. Purple. Yeah, yeah, but you know what? I got my pack. It's a Samsung though. It's Android. Nope, it's LG. I'm sorry. LG. It's still good though.
This is one of the protests, one of the many protests in Rosemont. Ain't no sleeping in Rosemont.
They rocking it.
No justice, no sleep.
Here. What's up, Rosemont? Let me get that sign, baby. Get your sign up. All right. Turn that around. Let's get that. Right here. This is what we do. We do it for the people. Justice for Kanika. She didn't walk in that freezer. They need to stop lying. Okay, stop the lies. Stop the lies. That's right. Yes, she is. She here. She is here. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. No, she didn't walk in that freezer. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, let me pull it back to the beginning.
We don't want to block nobody from walking on the sidewalk.
See, because people like to lie.
Y'all see it? Why y'all be talking that stuff?
Come on, tell it.
Why y'all be talking that shit on Facebook?
Come on.
Y'all see it? Don't y'all?
YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. You see it? See y'all here?
Come on.
Ask her where she at now. Ask her. This shit ain't real. This shit real. Fuck y'all talking about.
Graphic language.
That's right. And we from Michigan and we rocking with you. We rocking with you.
Okay. And so it comes a time when you can talk about it, but it's always a time when you should be about when it comes to justice. And so what he was saying was, when it comes to Kanika Jenkins, many people lie on Mama T, and it's a shame. Defamation, cyber defamation. That's lying over the internet. Liables. That's lying on third-party platforms. Slander and defamation. Slandering her name. Defaming her character. So, at this particular protest, people were saying, she ain't gonna be there, it don't matter. And let the record show. For those who have seemed to forget. Rosemont O'Hare. In the village of Rosemont O'Hare. The hotel has a restraining order against Teresa Martin, whose daughter was found dead in the freezer of that hotel. They put a restraining order on her, which means she cannot be on the premises. The restraining order has been upheld for the last, what is it? Happened in 2017. What is this? 2021. Do the math. But you get people, like Martin Luther King said, who seem to forget. They running around talking about they about justice. They want to see justice for a person they never even met. Oh, we all do, but they seem to have forgotten. You're not no real justice seeker if you running lies and telling lies all day. You ain't about justice. You about yourself, and you full of yourself, and you about mess. That's right. I said it. I sure did. Because when it comes to justice, you stand on the truth and nothing but the truth. That's right. That's right. Won't stop, can't stop. Not just for Kanika, Jelani Day. Kendrick Johnson, Christina, Freddie Gray. Mm-hmm. 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 Tatiana Jefferson. Oh, the list goes on. Justice is not a one-night stand. It's a long-term commitment. And the only way you get out is to leave this earth. That's what justice is about. Which part didn't you know, Yvonne, that the hotel had a restraining order against Mama T and she can't be on the premises? Why in the world, if they were innocent, would they put a restraining order on her mother and she can't be on the premises? Oh, it's still being upheld to this day. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, Yvonne. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, if, I hear people acting as if there's not a case pending in court, and it is. And if people want real information, all they got to do is pull up the documents from the court website. As a matter of fact, just give me a few minutes and I'll pull them up and I'll show the people again. That restraining order is still being upheld. Why in the world would a judge approve a restraining order, but Shaq want to run down to Rosemont and drop a big chicken? Is that restaurant vital and life sustaining for anybody? People, he's creating jobs. Yeah, go to the hood and create those same jobs. Go to the inner cities, go to the poor areas, the areas that are deemed poor in the United States of America, and create the same opportunities. Show surveillance up. Quit playing. But we say we want to be a Martin Luther King and a Martin Luther Queen and a Malcolm, but won't show up to go mano a mano with a police for nothing. Oh, because it gets real all the time. Let me go back. Let me go back. Go back in this history. Let me go back in this history real quick before I pull that up. Let me go back. Let me go back. This is why you can't play games when you are advocating on behalf of others. One, know that law enforcement is usually always watching. And you don't ever want them to take you for a joke when you show up to the ground. Number two, not only is law enforcement always usually watching, others are always usually watching that are there to deter, distract, and be detrimental to the cause. And they know that they can hoodwink and bamboozle you and get you off course with foolishness. Because they've studied. They've sat back and studied you on various social media platforms. That's why we can't play games when it comes to advocacy and justice. You got to be about that business and live a lifestyle that reflects such. And yes, it's a high cost to pay. You have to carry yourself in such a manner, because when I hit the ground, they know I'm not playing. You don't get to placate me. You don't get to play games with me. You don't get to put words in my mouth, and you sure don't get to run me off. If we're going to be about justice, we got to be willing to stand flat-footed. If we're going to be about people over profits and not cower down, not back down, and not back up. Because yes, the stench of racism is rampant throughout America. If you don't think the police at these protests will come and incite violence, then you've not been to protest. You've not been to a certain type of protest. If you don't think police will show up to harass you, then I'd have to ask you, what type of protest have you been to? Yes, certain police departments and police will show up to cause chaos. And then, like Malcolm X said, if you don't watch it, when the news media print these articles up and run their narratives, they'll have you believing that the innocent person is guilty and the guilty people are innocent. But that's what happens when accountability don't happen. Oh, I'm just getting the video right. Mm-hmm. All right, I got this queued to where I want it. We do the share out on this. Mm-hmm. So again, I am going to the court docs, and I'm going to pull them up, and then I'm gonna make sure I blow it up on the screen real big so people can see that a restraining order is still being held against Teresa Martin, aka Mama T. What's going? That's wrong. All right. So in the background, so I can explain to people, securing up another video, live stream, from one of the many Kenneka Jenkins protests. People over profits, the truth over lies, justice over injustices. They scared. Let me pull that back because I said something right there. That's me speaking. I said they're scared. Let me pull that back just a little bit. See, because I've seen some videos and even seen certain comments of people blaming the teenagers, the minors who were, some of them minors, some of the teens and some of the young adults who were inside the hotel rooms at the parties that were taking place, saying that, you know, they did this, they did that, which really you're defaming them and you're telling a liable on them, and they really can turn around and sue your behinds, and rightly so. But these are people who are supposed to be about justice and advocacy. That's not the way you get down, especially when you didn't let your feet touch the ground. And you've never even been to Rosemont to know the modus operandus of the village, to get a feel of the atmosphere, the premises, the perimeter, to scope it out. So that's me saying, some of the teens, same teens that was at that party, were scared. Yeah, they were scared. And why wouldn't they be? Because they are in a 90% affluent, a little bit affluent, predominantly white area. And they thought they was going to be safe when they had their party there. And so for Kanika to end up dead was like a slap across their faces from my perspective. And if you think your black butts was going to be in that area and murder a person and get away with it, you're confused. I'll say it again, an affluent 90% white populated area of less than 3,000, and you think black teenagers gonna walk their butts up into what the Stephensons own and take a life and get away with it, you're confused. And in all you're getting, you need to get an understanding. And I knew they were scared. I said, oh, they're scared. Now, many protests happened before this, but I guarantee you they would roll down up in Rosemont by themselves. They were scared. Why were they scared? The reason they were scared, intimidation, intimidating tactics being used, police intimidating, police harassment. That's why they were scared. And I'm not talking about one, I'm talking about several. You're getting ready to see it right now. And so you thought Village of Rosemont, public safety department full of police officers where they could skip, hop, and jump to get to her hotel. A few walks away, less than 5 minutes, can walk there and get there real quick. That they would be up in there cutting up and just cutting the food and allowed to cut a food. You're confused and you haven't been there. And that's why a lot of people would spew and spit that foolishness. But for anybody to spew and spit that foolishness and not do their due diligence, to me, is asinine. I said it, it's asinine. That's an asinine decision. The height of insanity. Play the clip.
Has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Pledge has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
It's purple.
They scared.
Yeah, they were scared. Teenagers, some of them teenagers down in there was getting scared. They were scared. And you're getting ready to see why.
They go to Popo. They go to Popo. Here they go. These police running up in here. They was ready for it. They was ready. They was ready. They told us to get out the street.
Yeah, they told us to get out the street. The street is the street is public.
Down up in here. The street is public property. Hey, we need.
I ain't gonna go to jail. That's law. They can only tell you what they cannot. No charges can be filed on you.
Yeah, all they can do is tell us to move. Justice for Kanika! Justice for Kanika!
We want the FBI! We want the FBI! We want justice! We want the FBI!
We want the FBI!
We want the FBI!
We want the FBI! We want justice!
We want justice!
We want
It's a lot of people there, by the way. I'm not showing half of the people that's there.
We want justice!
We want justice!
We want justice! All they can do is
want justice!
we want justice! We want
Shut it down!
So, quite naturally, the entrance is being blocked. We're not letting them go there. We want to tell us to move, like they told us to get off the street.
And it was windy-ish. It's Illinois, so you hear the wind blowing.
Yeah, we said shut it down, and we don't want people to just keep rolling up into Crown Plaza. Kanika Jenkins' grandmother is here, her nieces are here, but people are asking, oh, Kanika,
That was my daughter I was talking to when I told her to stand on this side because the teenagers started getting scared. Including the teenagers that was in the hotel room, some of them, because some of them were there. Here they call a whole bunch of police came riding up on some bicycles. This ain't the police that kept driving by. These are the bicycle riders. Foot police. They footmen.
This is Kanika's grandmother right here. Mexican.
And so they came and they started pushing groups in and jumping in people's faces and inside being some jumper cases.
Look at this, Michigan. Look at this, Michigan.
Blocking off the sidewalk, trying to dominate the sidewalk, which is public, trying to dominate the streets, which is public, infringing upon our constitutional rights. And you want to put, and Shaq want to put a big chick in Rosemont.
This how they rocking this right here. I'm from Michigan. That's how they rocking. Look at this right here, Michigan. I want y'all to see this. Now they didn't piss me off. I'm from Michigan. That's how they rocking Michigan. Like this right here. That's how they rocking Michigan. That's how they getting down on the protest. Like this right here. The street is public and the sidewalk is public. That's what they doing. Like this right here. That's how they rocking. This right here on the protest. That's how they rock. Like this right here. Stop back the heck up. That's right. Just this got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, that's got to go. Hey, hey. Oh, hey, hey. Oh, that's got to go. Come on in. So we're trying to block you up. No access. No peace. That's how they rock in Michigan. I need y'all how they get down. That's how they get down, Michigan. I need y'all to see this. That's how they get down. That's how they get down. That's how they get down.
10 people standing in the driveway dancing. Talking about ain't no talking back.
get down, Michigan. That's why we go live.
And then they said Andre
Michigan.
and some of the other
Right here. That's why we go live.
advocates and protesters were standing around dancing in a certain area. Excuse me, the sidewalk is covered, just like the street.
That's why we
made sure we didn't touch their grass because that's private.
They lied already. That's why we
lied
go live.
already. They came just to incite, to be some jumper cables, just to incite and harass advocates, protesters, and the like.
Lied on some people.
And they was also
somebody
lying.
was dancing in the driveway. They're a doggone trip. They must think we are from the state of Illinois. I'm from Michigan. And they on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk. There they go. Trying to dominate and hog up the sidewalk.
And they on the sidewalk. There's
so we could not continue to protest.
There they go. Knocking the sidewalk.
Okay. Enough of that. Enough. So I think we all get the point that when it's time to turn up, you turn up on turn up. And I was turned up, and a righteous indignation came over me and comes over me at times when I'm out there. When you start infringing upon the rights of people, and I know you about profits over people, well then a whole different meal show up. A whole different facet of me will show up. And again, getting in people's faces, pushing protesters around, just trying to, no. But this is where Chad want to put a big chicken at. Okay. As you please, sir. Do as you want to, Shaq. Mm-hmm. Your money. But like Martin Luther King said, some people get a little taste of money and they forget a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Now, let's get to this restraining order on Mama T. That's still being upheld by judges. Mm-hmm. And I should know this case number by heart. So, see if I can get this right by heart. And this should be case number. Yeah, I got the right. My case number. Make sure I'm putting this in here right. Division is L. Okay, my L is capital. Yeah, Letha, you have to let the record show. Not just that, not just for this case. Again, Jelani Day. I'm gonna say it right now. Like his mother said, it's not getting the police department down there are not doing their due diligence. They're acting nonchalant and cavalier. Okay. We watched Gabby Petito get a host of attention. We watched that state turn the case over to the FBI, and the FBI come in there and give her a 3D body scan, a 3D body scan conducted to find out what really happened to her, down to the time she took her last breath. And then we watched and turn around and talk about Jelani Day took his life. He just got himself butt behind naked and jumped into a freezing river in Illinois with all his clothes off. Yeah. Left his car, left his phone, left everything, strode all over. No. You don't get to play us like that. No justice, no peace. Period. And peace is not silence. Some people confuse peace with silence. Oh, they're not addressing the issue or saying anything, so it's peaceful. Peace ain't silence. That's not what peace is. People get it confused. Just because they're being silent is peaceful. No. Yeah, families first, people over profits. Okay, this is the number I put in here. Like I said, I know this case number by heart. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and pull this up. They shouldn't be offline for the holidays because they're moving like they're offline, but I know better than that. Well, I can put the filing date in there too. 12. 11 dash 2018. It don't make a difference to me which way they want to roll it. There we go. I'm pulling some dates up now. No. Okay, so they're allowing information to retrieve that way. So they should pull it up this way. This is the quickest way to get to it. Unless they just want to like this. They don't mess tonight. I pulled this up so many times this way, and all of a sudden tonight, they don't want the information to be retrieved the regular way. This don't make sense. Anybody who's been on really paying attention to this case for a while know this case number by heart. Okay, so they want to let me pull it up that way. All right, let me pull it up this way. Okay. Apologies, everyone, because like I said, this case, I put it up too many times for them not to allow for it to be pulled up this way. This is not new, and I pulled it up yesterday, and when I pull it up often, I pull it up the same way. I retrieve this information the same way, but tonight they seem to be doing something a little bit special. So, okay. Okay. The division is L for law. And like I said, they want to be special tonight. Any other time I can jump on here, pull it up infinitely many different ways, and it comes right up. But tonight they just want to be special. Oh, this is stupid. No. Again, I am pulling this case up in the back, and it has never in the history of pulling the case up taken me this long to retrieve information. Letha, you said they have suspects, that people who they think are suspects on Jelani Day page. Because we know the way I feel about people being suspects. If you were on anywhere around when the demise took place, that makes you proximity wise where the person was, that makes you a suspect. Not saying that you did anything or anything like that. A suspect makes you a possible suspect. Now, Why are they not allowing this to be pulled up this way? How far back? Well, shouldn't make a difference because it's not like it's the beginning of the 19th century. Try with a lowercase. Well, y'all on stupid stuff tonight. This is crazy. This is so crazy to me and bizarre. This makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so what I'm going to do for them is, all right, since they won't let me pull it up from that device, no worries, because I didn't try this several times. I'll pull it up this way. I'm always able to get into this, but let's go. Cook County court case lookup. That's all right. I'll just do it from my phone and capture the screen. They on some stupid stuff tonight. Let me. Now let's search it. They on foolishness tonight. Like they are literally on foolishness tonight. Like they are not allowing this case to be retrieved the regular way. And online cases go all the way back to 2009 when they started allowing people to retrieve these cases. I don't want to pull up I don't want to have to go through any more of my old videos and pull up the restraining orders that way. I want to pull it up in real time from this website tonight. And it seems as though I don't know why on here tonight that particular case is not being allowed to be pulled up, but yesterday was fine. So what I'm going to do is, let me go back here and I'm going to share this file out. And see if, Letha, see if you can pull it up from where you are. And I know you are another one that know the case number by heart. I don't know why they're not allowing me to pull this up tonight. They can't be doing that much maintenance. I mean, all right. So let me send this to myself. I'm sending my screen capture from my phone to myself, so other people in the chat can try it, because like I said yesterday, I didn't have a problem pulling anything up. I've never had a problem retrieving the information off of the website. And I do have firewalls and pop-up blockers turned on, but that still shouldn't impede me from pulling up that information, because my things are usually always set and I'm able to access what I need to access via the internet. So okay. And so, Letha, are you able to pull it up from your end where you're at? Touch this. Touch file. And I'm just doing sending myself a quick screen share to my email address, and it's already there. Yep. So let me open up and share this out. So what I would like for people to do in the chat, if you don't mind participating, and most people usually don't, is see if you can pull this up from your end, because it makes no sense for me not to be able to retrieve. Let me blow this up. This case tonight, and like I said, unless some type of maintenance is taking place, but other cases are coming right up. So the traditional way that I would put it up, and so that's nice and big. Break that down. So okay, everyone should be able to see that. So let me do the share on this. Okay. Yeah. This is what I'm sharing here. Okay. Okay. So everyone should be able to see this case number, which is, everybody knows Teresa Martin, a special administrator for estate of Kanika Jenkins, that deceased. So if you do it by name search, you would put in, you know, really it should be Martin Teresa. Because usually they'll do last name or Teresa Martin. But the way, the way that I always pull this case up is this, directly by the case number. So you go in, you put the case number in the electronic docket search, which will be 2018. That's the year. You put L, which is the law division. So you have to choose in the options in the drop down menu. So it's letting you select, which will be L, and L stands for law. Okay. It will be the one at the bottom because it is wrongful death. Okay. Wrongful death case. And then you'll type in the numbers 013273. And then the case usually just comes right up. And I tried that several times tonight. I don't know why it's not coming up tonight, and it comes up every other night that I check it. So I just find that a bit interesting. It's down for you too, Letha? Okay. How about for anybody else in the chat? Is it down for everyone, or is it just down for us? We believe in having multiple paths. That's what networking is all about. And multiple paths to access resources, multiple routes to get to the databases online to access that information. So I'm just wanting to know, is it down for anybody else in the chat tonight? Because like I said, I find it a little bit peculiar that I've always been able to pull that up, and then tonight is down. Okay. You got an error message? That's interesting. Thank you, 3,000. So now I almost started to do a print screen yesterday. And if I would have, then we could have seen the latest updated information as it pertains to that case. But Letha is in the state of Alabama, and she says it's down where she's at. I'm in Michigan. It's down where I'm at. And so if they are doing maintenance and they're down for the holidays and different servers or databases are offline because of maintenance issues, that's understandable. That usually happens. But you'll usually see some type of notice stating that it's going down. Okay, so trust and believe, because I want people to see it again. We showed it years back, and then we showed it years after that. I want people to see in real time when we access that website, no matter what time of the day, because it's going into the weekends, that they put it back up there, that Teresa Martin has a restraining order against her by Crown Plaza O'Hare. They put a restraint on her years ago, and you have to keep going back and doing whatever, and it is still being upheld. And I said it then, what idiotic judge would allow that? So again, she cannot be on the premises. She can be on the sidewalk, she could be in the street, she could be anywhere that's public. But she cannot be at that particular hotel's property. And that's not justice being rendered. That's somebody with something to hide, from my perspective. Now, we already know what I said about the video footage. From a personal perspective and from a professional perspective, as one who went to college for years for computer forensics, digital forensics, assurance, and security. as one who went to college for years on how to retrieve information from electronic devices that's admissible in the court of law. Also, as one who went to college for a trade in ethical hacking. So everything leaves a digital fingerprint. Immediately, we talk about best practices. The day the incident occurred, best practices would have been, because forensics, my field of forensics deals with investigations, deals with warrants, deals with collecting, storing, and retrieving information so it can be admitted in a court of law in the manner in which you do so. Best practices would have been for all the police to have their body cams on the day the incident occurred. Okay. Everybody has to have a body cam on, and that's covering your own behind. This is best practices. Okay. Having the body cams on. That's number one. Wait, let me backtrack, because we're talking about forensics for real. My field. Best practices for me on my side. The warrant is number one. You get a warrant, and then the warrant should have been a broad enough warrant to include neighboring cities, villages, and states, if necessary. So it covers geographically a large amount of territory. That's number one. And it includes all devices, cell phones, monitors, hard drives, database servers that are on premises, network drives to back up data, anything. It includes, it's all inclusive. Now, that's number one. It's the warrant. Securing the crime scene. I'm not a police officer, but if I have to go out and conduct an investigation on behalf of a company, or if somebody hires me privately to do so, in this field, you still have to make sure the crime scene is secure. That means it's not getting contaminated. You don't have people tampering with evidence or casually sashaying around in that crime scene area. Oh, yeah. Now, you would think that when you're looking at the video footage, that we still don't know if it's been authenticated, because we didn't see any documentation pertaining to authentication of any video footage that we've seen. We have yet to see that. You would think that the police would have not had all those people walking around in the kitchen with no hair nets, no shoe marks, and it's supposed to be a homicide scene at that time, because they don't know what happened to her then. They didn't know what happened to her then. They just found her in the freezer. It would have seemed that it would have been secured. It would have seemed that really a temporary injunction to shut that hotel down should have been sought and approved by a judge, because everybody at that time should have been questioned. Oh, it's possible they do it. They did it for school shooters. They do it often when the FBI's investigating. Everybody gets questioned. Everybody. We've saw them do it several times in the US. That's the way it's supposed to roll, right? And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. They go through the process and they're questioned. We've seen it several times during mass school shootings. When the FBI show up, everybody coming out with their hands on their head after they are searched. Remember, I said the warrant is already there. Everybody goes through and get processed, and everybody gets questioned. That's the same thing that should have happened here. Everybody who was there. Why would they let people in and out of the hotel? I'm not talking about just the kitchen area, the entire hotel. Every floor, every room. Elevators, all of them, including the service elevators that people don't usually know about. Not the regular public elevators, the service elevators for the employee and the security staff and everybody else that works there. See, they play too much. That should have been secure. We still don't know what the data policy was. That's vital. We still don't know if the cameras in the kitchen that they said were inoperable were actually inoperable, because we never got to see the data policy. We never got to see the forensics from the network. We don't know if those cameras were bidirectional. That means send and receive information. That means it's not just sending information. It can also receive information, or you're not just in a view only mode. That means information can be stored on a SD inside a camera. We don't know. We know the kitchen cameras were infrared. AI, artificial intelligence, were used. Artificial intelligence are using mostly all cameras today. Surveillance cameras, as well as others. Infrared. That means calculation of what's going on in the atmosphere. Internet, IP, internet protocol. What's going on in the, because we're talking about networks. These cameras at the hotel, as well as printers, as well as other different peripheral devices, represent a node or a network. So those cameras represented a node on a network. That means when the camera go down on a network, the network administrator is aware right then and there when the camera becomes inoperable. You do that when you set the configurations. So we don't have that information, the information that I always wanted from the beginning. And I wanted to know, okay, you said cameras were inoperable. Prove it. Let's go ahead and let's look at the data. And while we're looking at the data, let's see your data policy so we can see the way information is being backed up, stored, and saved. We still don't have that information. What we did have in the police reports was the hotel. And again, we don't know if anything was correctly copied or authenticated from original drives, handing off stuff to the police department, which was not the best practice. Best practice was for the police department to go in, they acquire a warrant, and retrieve the entire IP surveillance unit. Any connected peripherals, that means cameras, printers, databases, and the like, themselves. After copying the information in a volatile state, bit by bit. We never did get to that. We still don't have that information. Clear up what, Letha? The what's the name? Let me just stop the share on it. That's all. I'll just simply stop the share on it. I did have it enlarged, zoomed in, so I didn't do anything special like add saturation or anything to it, but I already read the case number. All I know it by heart. If anybody wants the case number for the estate of Kanika Jenkins, it is 2018 L013273. That's just the by heart. Let me say it again, because you said it was a bit blurry. If people want the case number for the case that's still pending pertaining to Kanika Jenkins, it is 2018, which stands for 2018. L, which stands for Law Division. 013273. It's the numbers that you put in after Law Division. That's what it is. So, for those who want the case number, and when the website is, when they're done doing maintenance, their routine maintenance, you can pull it up and you can look at it. And what you will see on there when you are viewing the documentation, and again, like I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep my word. I like keeping my word. A person's word is their bond. Pull it up so people can see that, yeah, they had a restraining order that's still being honored against Teresa Martin. She cannot be on the premises, Crown Plaza over here. They had a restraining order years ago. Updated restraining orders are still being honored. That's right. Now, back to best practices, verbatim when it comes to electronically stored evidence. We don't know what the hotel data policy was. That should have been documented. I didn't see the serial numbers to any of makes or models to any of the cameras on the premises. That should have been documented. It's called best practices. It's just called plain old investigations for my field. Like if, again, example, if I had to go out, if someone contracted me to go out and do some type of investigations, I would have to get make, model numbers, serial numbers, and the like of every electronic device. Because usually warrants will include that. Okay? As well as data policies. That documents, that those things have to be documented. Okay? So the police, we don't have any of that. That's why I said they did a half-tail job. We see duty to preserve going to Facebook from those live streams, but I never saw a duty to preserve going to Crown Plaza O'Hare for the live data captures going across the network from them cameras on the premises. Yeah. Duty to preserve when it comes to electronically stored information means we need you not to delete, not to override. We need you to hold that. That's right. Go ahead and hold it. Somebody gonna be on the way to get bit by bit copy, and copy will be authenticated, and 9 out of 10 times it's gonna be used in a court of law. That's right. So after we send your letter to hold, go ahead. You got a duty to preserve that from the hotel. Okay. Let me put it this way. A crime happens or an incident happens on your premises and you are a business owner. And there's a possibility that the persons who got hurt or who were involved in any type of altercation is going to sue you or take you to court. You automatically, by law, are supposed to preserve such information from cameras and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's a bunch of information we didn't get pertaining to this Kenneka Jenkins case. I still want a lot of information. It's unfortunate that people have made a mockery out of this case. It is unfortunate that people have exploited this case. It is unfortunate that people have lied on others pertaining to this case and put other people's life at jeopardy. Because let me say this about Chicago, Illinois, and Illinois period, especially certain parts. The thing about people that reside in the state of Illinois who are vested in certain cases or who watch certain cases is this. They'll be on the internet watching everything you say and you do. They'll know you, but you won't know who they are. Because everybody in Illinois is not on social media revealing who they are. And then when you get there in person, they know exactly who you are. They know you by name because they didn't sit up and watch all of your social media, unbeknownst to you. So for people to have set up for years and accuse Mama T of taking her own daughter's life or accuse her of being this negligent parent, you're wrong. You always been wrong, out of order, straight out of pocket. You was out of pocket out the gate. Okay. All right. For people who thought that Black people went into an affluent white area. At that time, they had roughly over 4,000 people. Today, they have roughly around 3,000 people and killed or murdered on Stefan's premises, multimillionaires' property, an African-American girl, and they would not be held accountable, and they got away with it. You could use it was 47 cameras according to the documentation on the premises. Now that was on the premises of Crown Plaza, 47. Now, and I tell you personally that off the premises is cameras too. Every time you're going through a paytoll, it's the camera. When you get in Rosemont and you come to the traffic stoplights, they have cameras on certain traffic stoplights. On the stoplights, it's cameras. Hotels next to the Crown Plaza over here, they got cameras. Malls and stores around, they have cameras. Not just on the inside of their facilities, but on the outside too. And let me pull it back for the people who missed it. Certain traffic stoplights in Rosemont have cameras. When you're going through the pay tolls to get into Rosemont, you bypassing cameras. Go ahead and in the state of Illinois and go through several pay tolls and don't pay, and watch them send you a ticket in the mail with your driver's license and everything else on it that a camera captured. Now, for people to think that a group that's not usually there. Not saying that they don't have black people that visit the hotel or stay there, because they do, or that have stayed there because they do. But just to think that they just gonna let just group come up in there and then kill and get away, no, no. As a matter of fact, while we're talking, it's camera on the 9th floor. It wasn't the kids that made the cameras on the 9th floor, or the party girls that made the cameras on the 9th floor and operable. Oh my goodness, they don't even know where all the cameras were. To this day, they probably still don't know where all the cameras are located. So for people accusing them, that means they would have to have remote access to the cameras, which the security company have remote access to the cameras. Certain employees have remote access to the cameras, and upper management, by all means, they have remote access to cameras on premises. Pause for a minute. Say a lot. Think about that, because we're talking about justice now. Let's put it in perspective. However, if you haven't been there, you wouldn't know that. If you've been there, you would know that. Now, am I telling people to stop raising awareness campaigns? No. Never. Am I telling certain people they need to check the corridors of their heart and the recesses of their minds? Yes. And assess themselves, because sowing and reaping is a real thing. To sit up and lie on other people like that and to put their lives in jeopardy and harm's way is wrong, because we know many people that started off, that stayed in Illinois, that resided in the state, have gotten killed. That started off J4K. And it goes all the way back with some of the first ones who resided in the state, who were the first ones to make the video and be raising awareness campaigns and out there protesting. Male, predominantly some African American males, they no longer walk among us, because you had people out here lying and speculating. But why they were lying and speculating with allegations and theories, people that resided in the state wasn't taking that stuff for joke. And when Zach TV was alive and he did his interviews with some of the party goers who were either knew Kanika or supposed, were friends with her at whatever point, or their associates, the two gentlemen that stood out, when the one said, and it was like security popped out of nowhere. Well, now, having been in a Crown Plaza, that makes perfect sense to me. Why he would say it's like security kept popping out of nowhere. That's because security were on the service elevators that the customers don't know about. And you wouldn't even know they were there unless you worked there or someone told you. And they could just pop up out of nowhere because they came off a service elevator, unbeknownst to them that person was actually on a service elevator that only employees have access to, or security. So they could just pop up. And Letha, my question is this. Why would a mother say her daughter's hair had been washed when she got there to the hotel? I think Mama Teresa made that real plain. She didn't wash Kanika's hair. Kanika's hair was straight. And then when you look at the video, it's all, and everybody was trying to speculate and figure out what was that in her hair. And Mama Teresa said basically it was soap scum because they had washed her hair. Somebody had attempted to wash her hair. Okay, that's a little bit too much for me from coming from a hotel for the police not to go in and remove that and leave that what it was supposed to be, from my perspective, a doggone homicide. And I'm still waiting for forensics, biological forensics. Give me some footprint impressions from the floors in the kitchen. Give me some fingerprint from inside the freezer. Give me something. Give me some from the follicles of hair that was on the floor. Give me somebody's DNA off that. I'm waiting for stuff like that. I have yet to see it involving this case. So the employees who worked there, they didn't get questioned to the degree or the extent that the party goers got questioned. And they didn't find her in the room. They found her inside, allegedly. They're saying inside the kitchen and the freezer. So if they found her in the kitchen and the freezer, why wouldn't you ask the entire hotel staff who was present? First shift to third shift. Where are their sheets at? I'm still waiting for those sheets. And that's all of them who were working. And as I get ready to conclude, I'm going back to what I said over 4 years ago. Somebody knew something, somebody saw something. And the somebodies I'm talking about are the people who work for the hotel. Whether you were security, whether you were upper management, lower management, whether you were regular employee. Makes no never mind to me. You saw something, you know something, and you said nothing. All except for a few people who quit. The one African-American boy who said, nah, he wasn't even working there. They told the story on him. They put him up in some stuff. Next day he quit. And then that was the one who was like, oh man, she ended up dead. Oh, no, they tried to say I was at work. No, I wasn't. I wasn't even working that day. Why did they even have me down like there? I'm out. I'm not talking about certain content creators who set up and made up characters and act like they worked there or whatever. And I'm not talking about that stupid stuff. I'm talking about the ones who worked there for real, who saw her throughout the day. Security. The security who were monitoring the cameras from the monitor room, from the security room, who saw her throughout the day. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this dumb stuff. I'm talking about the regular cleaners of the rooms and janitors and stuff like that. And kitchen staff and stuff like that. Yeah. Where's the police report on them being questioned? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. That's still non-existent. I'm not talking about the just the one who walked in there like cavalierly and was like, oh, it's a body, and then cavalierly walked out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyone. So keep that in mind. J4K till we get it. Just because, many of us who started years ago are not talking about it every day. It doesn't mean we're still not J4K. We J4K for life, period. That means justice for Kenneka Jenkins for life, period. And I don't think it's a single avenue that we didn't go down. Those of us who started off in this thing did not cover, even the ones who were far out in left field, because I can't, I'm not going down certain roads. I'm going down a road of what, okay, this was given, this is not given. So, okay, you got the party goer side, but you didn't get the entire hotel staff who was working those days side. Okay, see, I look at what's given and then I'm looking at what's missing. And then I go to assess the atmosphere and get a feel for what type of area it is. Okay. Right. No. Okay. Having said that, I've talked long enough. Thank you all. I did start off in rare form. The other electronic device, the sound drive, went back out on it. It's been reinstalled several times. I probably put a backup audio drive back on it like I had before. So I jumped on another device. With that being said, let's remember J4K till we get it. Let's remember it's always about justice. It's got to be people over profits at the end of the day. And when I'm talking about Shaq, like Martin Luther King said years ago, when he started talking, some people get a piece of money or some money and then they get out of touch. It's like, I'm far above those issues or this situations and circumstances of life. Now that I have this money, I'm far above that, but life situations and circumstances can happen to anybody. And I don't care how much money you got. COVID showed everybody that. So let's make sure that we stay actively engaged and that you always stayed mobilized. That means move like that. Come together, get the plan, walk it out. And it's not about bashing anyone, but it is about the truth and nothing but the truth and justice in its entirety. All that other foolishness, when you hit the ground, when your feet hit the ground for real, you don't have time for dumb stuff when the police gonna run up on you at any given moment and you don't know which direction they're coming from. Now, having said that, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. Keep Teresa Martin in your real prayers. People who know how to pray and get prayers through for real. Not all that other goof. Well, let me hush. Jelani Day, keep his family in your prayers. Justice for him. No one's forgotten that either. Okay. Christina from Alabama, definitely ain't forgot about that. Kendrick Johnson, not forgotten that. Tatiana Jefferson, Jean Botham, even though she went for, prison for a little while, whatever. There's so many cases out here where extremely suspicious deaths have taken place and they've not been resolved. And it's a host of them, too many to name. We have not forgotten. And so we still want answers. We still want certain information, and we want the truth and nothing but the truth. And that's what we want. And to come out and make up Maximus Fibulus's, that's big fat lies about these situations. It serves no purpose in getting towards any type of justice or form of justice for the families. It's a distraction, and it's nothing but entertainment, and it doesn't help. Now, having said that, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night, and happy ML King Day, everybody. You know, ML King is always a rare form for me. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for streaming. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay actively engaged. J4K for life. And so when you see the purple hearts in the chat, that's all about justice. Justice for Kanika and just justice. All right. Thanks for streaming.